Hey explorers, Kid Explorer here, and today I'm back with another solo travel video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about budgeting for solo travel. So I'm going to give you tips from me, tips from a solo woman traveler about budgeting for your travels. And I'm going to do this by answering some questions that were submitted to me on various social media platforms. So make sure you stay all the way to the end so you can hear if your question was answered, or if you didn't submit the question or didn't have time or didn't see the post or whatever, maybe your question is answered in this video. So let's get into today's video. And before we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It is free for you to do so, and it helps me provide more and better content to you in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much for supporting me. Now let's get into this budgeting for solo travel video. So the first question I have received every once in a while throughout the years is, how do I afford to travel specifically as a solo traveler? So there's a lot of factors into that. I do have a full-time job. I do have plenty of side hustles. And if I need additional side hustles, I will find them, like driving for Uber Eats. I have done that in the past. So I do have a wide variety of buckets where I'm getting financing from. But I also afford solo travel through the different things I'm going to share with you during this video. And another key component to affording solo travel is also using points when you can. So that means using points to book your flights, points to book your car rentals, points to book your hotel stays, wherever you can. Try to use those points so you can save on some trips, or all of your trips if you can. So this brings me into the next question that I received, which is how to budget for solo travel. And this can actually go into just budgeting for travel or budgeting for anything for that matter. So first of all, I know people talk about this statement on the internet or think it's a joke or whatever, but you do have to make travel a priority. Meaning, for me, I do not go out and I'm constantly buying clothes. You will never see me buying a lot of clothes. And when I do buy clothes, 9 times out of 10, it is from Ross. I'm getting them discounted, or Amazon. Every once in a while, I buy clothes from a nice store, but it's rare. So I don't buy designer things. My car, when I bought it, I'm going to have that car until the wheels fall off. So I don't spend on other things that people might spend on in their day-to-day lives. Now, that's just an example, but that is something that I do. I don't spend my money on other things because travel is my passion. Now, another thing about budgeting for travel, it is key, especially when you're traveling solo, is to book your travel in advance. And I say this because you can pay off on it on a longer time period than booking your travel a month prior, and then you have to book your flight, hotel, and activities and your transportation while you're there all in 1 month. Like to really try to book my solo travel 3 to 6 months in advance so I can really split out my spending on travel over months instead of hitting my bank account all at one time. Another key component about budgeting for solo travel is that, you know, when you book those group trips, a lot of times they charge the single supplement. So for me, I tend to usually book my own travel. So I do my own investigation, I do my own research and plan my own itinerary. There are some companies out there, I have not used them, that may or may not have that single supplement option. But 9 times out of 10, if you're going on a cruise or you're going on some type of group activity, you're gonna have to be hit with that fee. And that fee can be a lot of money. It's like penalizing you for wanting to enjoy your life and not wait for others. So making sure you book early enough, it gives you enough time to plan those activities, to plan that itinerary, and book things as you go. And the last thing I want to say about how do I budget for solo travel is that I do track my spending in a spreadsheet. I use this spreadsheet to really help me track my expenses. It also tracks to let me know if I have my flights booked or not, hotels booked or not, whatever. So it's really kind of a sanity check and lets me know how much I'm spending before I even go on the trip and how much I still have left to spend. And I do have this budget tracking sheet along with my packing list available for a free download. Yes, you have to submit your email address, so you may hear from me every once and again, but it's free for you to download. And if you want to hear from me again, you will get more travel tips and news in these emails that you may get from me. Now, another question that I had submitted was, how much foreign currency do you carry? So this is a very interesting question because people have differences in opinions. So I'm going to tell you what I do because it's most comfortable and convenient for me. I do not carry cash in the United States. I know I could lose it. Someone could steal cash, and there is no tracking on cash. There is no way to hit submit and file a dispute and say it was fraud. There's no way. There's just too many scams out there. That's why I don't carry cash in the US. So with that said, when I do travel abroad, I do tend to have some cash because you never know, carrying around your US or wherever you're from, your home country's credit card may or may not work once you get into that restaurant. I actually just had that happen to me in Marseille, France. I had just arrived in Marseille, just arrived in France, and I really wanted something quick to eat. So I went around the corner down the street to this kind of like their fast food restaurant that I never heard of before to get some food. I go in there, I present my Visa. Visa works pretty much anywhere, especially in Europe. And it did not work because something was wrong with their machine and connecting to the service. So it kept declining my payment, even though I know my card is bueno. But I couldn't pay for my food. But I could because I did have euros on me. So what I do once I arrive in the country is I actually go to an ATM in the airport and get cash out that way. I do that before I leave the secured area of the airport, unless for some reason there isn't one there. A lot of times you can find one in the customs area of the airports, but if not, you may have to go past the secured area and get money out. I don't carry cash on me in the US, so I would never go to like the exchange booths, but sometimes the rates at those exchange booths in the airport aren't really the best. Also, I prefer to go to the ATM inside of the airport because it's probably more secure, especially if it's before you leave customs. It's going to be more secure than going out on the street and finding an ATM. I do not tend to look for banks to go and get money out because I don't have time for that. I do not want to look for a bank. The bank may not even be near where I'm staying. They may speak a different language when you go to the bank. I don't want to deal with that. So my convenience is that I get to the airport, go to the ATM, get money out there, and then I have money to go. I usually get out enough to last me my duration of my trip, and that is going to vary based on where you go. So that's something you need to research in advance before you go, is what kind of payments does the country take on a general basis, how much do things cost, so you can know how to plan and know how much money you're going to get out of the ATM or the bank when you go. Now, another option for you if you do not want to do that is that you can get money in your home country exchange, like through your bank or TravelX or something like that. But there's going to be a fee with that, and they may not hold all currencies. So that's something you will have to call and research and ask about before you plan on doing that. So don't wait till the last minute if you plan to do that. It does take time to get that money in. Now, my fourth question is, do you tend to spend more money on food, and how to save on that? So I definitely spend way more money on food when I am traveling because at home, that is one thing that I'm very strict on in my budget is food. I have a food budget every single week, and I cook. I buy groceries on Sunday and I cook food for the entire week. I may go out on like a Friday or Saturday and get food while I'm out, but other than that, I'm cooking at home. When I travel, I may not even have a place with a kitchen. Okay, so I'm going out to eat all the time. But these are some things I have done, and it always depends on the trip and where you're staying, on how I have saved money for food. So if I am staying, like doing a house sit, staying in an Airbnb, or staying in like, the Residence Inns, the Marriott Residence Inn hotels, they all have kitchens equipped. So if I have a kitchen equipped in wherever I'm staying when I travel, I am going to go to the grocery store and get at minimum breakfast food. But I might get other things like drinks or whatever, and that's going to save you a lot of money in the long run when you're traveling. Now, if you do not have access to those things, like you're staying in a hotel, they may or may not even have a fridge in the hotel, but we're gonna say you have a fridge in the hotel. If you have a fridge in your hotel, say you go out to eat and you get a pizza, don't stuff it all down. You're gonna be stuffed anyway. You don't want to be stuffed and feeling miserable on vacation. So take some of that when you have your leftovers, take it back to your room and put it in the fridge and eat it the next day or whenever you need another meal. So that kind of helps on cutting some costs as well. But always take some items with you. I went to Iceland with some friends a long time ago, and Iceland is very expensive. And we all packed breakfast items. So like I had bagels in my suitcase and oatmeal and stuff like that to take with me when I travel. So that saves money also. So you definitely need to look at what kind of place you're staying in. That's key. If you have a kitchen, save a lot of money on food while you're traveling. If not, try to eat leftover foods. Try to bring some foods with you or get foods at the grocery store that you don't really need to cook to kind of help cut costs on food. Now, the last question that I received, which I thought was an excellent question, is how to travel with enough budget for medications and or emergencies. So this is a very important question because this is a question that you need to think about way before you even start packing, kind of early in your planning process, because the one key thing that you need to make sure you have is travel insurance. And I do have an affiliate link to Travel Insurance Master where you can go and compare rates to different travel insurance plans. It's key to have an insurance plan because you never know what may happen to you when you travel. I remember reading something a long time ago, I think during our early COVID years, someone got sick with COVID abroad. But luckily they had travel insurance, so they ended up getting reimbursed for all of their medical payments. If not, medical payments can be out of the wazoo when you're not a resident of that country, and you do not want to do that. I mean, you could be hit with some severe expenses like tens of thousands of US dollars, or you may be rejected. There is a lot of different things that can happen if you do not have travel insurance, and you need to make sure that travel insurance includes health insurance. Also, your travel insurance and your credit card, unless you have one of those really expensive credit cards, with a high annual fee, it is not going to cover travel health insurance. Now, with that said, you still need to have funding, right? You still need to have money available. So it's important to have credit cards, maybe that you can get a cash advance, or making sure that credit card works in the country you're going in, because that is going to be very helpful for you if you need to go to the hospital, go to emergency, and you need to pay up front before you can get reimbursed from your travel insurance company. Also, they may or may not want your credit card at the hospital, so you need to be able to get cash some type of way. So you may have some funding in your bank account, but if you don't, you need to make sure people know that you're traveling, because maybe they can Western Union you some money. Now, you may get minor illnesses that can lead up to major illnesses because you did not bring your proper medication. So it's very important to save some money or save some worry time by taking medications that are prescribed to you particularly, and take medications like, hey, maybe you can get a sinus infection, maybe you can get a cold. Take medication like that with you so you don't have to worry about them. Now, a lot of countries, if you are watching you from the US, because I know most of my audience is US based, our medication and health system here is pretty ridiculous and expensive. Let's not lie about that. But other countries in this world is not like that. You can find very cheap medication or very cheap services when you're abroad. but there may be a language barrier, and then you still have to have time and figure out how to get there and what you need to do. So that's why it's important to have your medication available just in case. But you need to make sure you have money, a credit card, and travel insurance so you can prevent going way in the hole with medical expenses when you're traveling. All right, explorers. So I hope you enjoyed me answering these 5 questions about budgeting for travel. They were some loaded questions and provided a lot of detail for you. So just to recap, the questions that I answered today were around these topics. So how do I afford solo travel? How do I budget for it? Do I spend more money on food? What about getting foreign currency out? And lastly, how to save up for medical and emergency issues. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you have further questions that you would love to have answered about budgeting for solo travel, leave that down below in the comment box, and I'll be glad to answer them. And make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and social media networks. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It is free for you to do so. It helps me provide more and better content to you in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. If you would love to support my business more, please make sure you check out the link to my merchandise shop, the link down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, or wherever in the world you are. Bye.